Good morning and welcome to Craftcation Day 3. Today is Wednesday and it is a slightly different day to normal. So for those of you who follow my podcast, you'll know that I have enrolled in a 5-week Get to Know Your Overlocker course. Yes, I know I can sew. Yes, I know I can make my own garments and I use an overlocker, but believe it or not, I really don't know how to use it properly. Overlockers are capable of so much more than just serging seams, so I signed up for a course at my local adult college and today is our last final class. So I think we're learning about machine maintenance and oiling and keeping it all in tip-top condition. So that's where I'm off to this morning. So I have actually got up early, I've put some makeup on my face, I've washed my hair and I've put on a new frock. So I am wearing my Bettine maxi hack that I made on Monday and I'll give you a twirl in just a moment. So, a little update on last night. When I left you, I was due to go and pick the kids up and take them to swimming, which is exactly what I did. But when we got there, we found that the pool was closed. It had been over chlorinated or something. The chemical imbalance was all out and they had to cancel classes. So we turned around and we came back home again, which freed me up a good hour extra in my day. So I edited yesterday's vlog and got that up online. You might have noticed that went up fairly early. And then I set to and started on my princess dress. I'm so naughty. So I didn't do loads, but basically got the starting parts done up until when I need to overlock. So with this dress, I haven't overlocked all the pattern pieces to begin with because I want to trim back and overlock at the same time. So all I did was sewed all of my darts into my bodice, sewed my facings together at the shoulder seams and sewed my bodice together at the shoulder seams. Pressed those open and sewed all of my skirt seams and my skirt pieces together. Now the idea is, as you may or may not know, when you do a course at an adult college, you often have 10 to 12 people in a class and one teacher and only 2 hours. You probably learn about 15 to 20 minutes worth of stuff in that 2 hours because purely just the teacher-pupil ratio is really quite high. And so there is a lot of time hanging around sort of between steps and between stages. And so I thought I'd take it with me and in the gaps between 6 sections of the course, I'm going to overlock those bits and pieces so that when I come home after the class, I can just simply put the zip in and sew it all together. So it should be finished quite quickly. So a little bit cheeky of me, but hey, I need to make the most of my Craftcation and doing my course is obviously eating up my entire morning. So I'm going to pop out in the garden now, give you a quick twirl of my dress and then we'll head off to college. So I hope you liked that. I'm really pleased with that dress. I will obviously do a full pattern review and show it off in its full glory at another point. Now I'd like to just give a little shout out here to another vlogger, another sewing vlogger who I've followed for quite some time and actually got to meet at the Knitting and Stitch show at Olympia earlier this year, and that is the lovely Sian from Kittenish Behaviour. Now Sian has been really good and she has been vlogging every day in May because she's taking part in Me Made May and wearing her own garments every single day. And I wanted to give her that shout out because you'll notice in my last vlog I did a little twirl in the garden and today I've done a little twirl in the garden and I am blatantly stealing my twirl idea from Sian. She gives us a lovely twirl of her outfit every single day. It's a really good way of showing off the garment in its swooshy swooshy kind of way. Swooshy swooshy, that's not even a word, but anyway. So hi Sian, I know you watched the vlog. We were chatting last night about her gorgeous jumpsuit that she's just made. So thank you for the twirl idea and it is officially stolen from here on in. You see that? It is a miracle.
turn. Yes. Go.
Right, are you ready?
Not counting on you.
I'm going to count to 3 and then I'm going to one banana.
Go on then.
1, 2, 3. 1 banana, 2 banana, 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 1 banana. Scary jiggery pokery with knives and all sorts, but I got a rolled hem. Oh, look at it! What you done, Elspeth?
I've got a rolled hem each side.
And now you've got a harem mask.
But it's not going to fray. I'm going to put them at the ends now.
So we've got rolled hem pin tucks. We've got little fine chiffon rouleau loops. And this is my favourite, look at this, lettuce edge on knit. So cool. And a lettuce edge on chiffon.
What have you got your 2 loopers on?
Fab day.
You know you changed the loopers, do you?
Well, that was absolutely awesome. The things I've learned today have absolutely blown my mind. Rolled hems on the overlocker. Beautiful, such a lovely finish, and to be able to make that lovely wavy lettuce stitch is fantastic. I can really see a little pair of shorts for little Miss Mac with that along the edge, or even the lady skater dress. You could do that along the bottom edge and have kind of wavy frilly edge. It would look absolutely superb. So I'm really chuffed with what I've learned today. I have learned to love my overlocker. I used to be petrified of it, and I used to use it for, you know, just literally serging edges and that was it. But I have actually now finally mastered how to make the stitches look right, and how to get it to do what I want it to do. And touch wood, it's doing good. So I would highly recommend booking yourself onto a course at your local adult college if you want to learn to understand your overlocker a little more. I have been talking to the teacher who taught us, and I'm hoping that she might come and join us as a tutor at Beautiful Things. So watch this space. We may have a Learn to Love Your Overlocker course coming soon, but we'll see. So I'm back home. I picked up some sushi. On my way home, I've made myself a cup of tea, so I'm going to have a quick lunch break and then crack on with my Disney princess dress.
About some of my hand knit socks, and yeah, just sharing a little bit of sock inspiration. So if you're interested, I will leave a link to that video in the description box, where you can find all of this week's show notes right down there. But I hinted that I had finished a couple of pairs of socks. So this is the first pair. My Twisted Limone socks are finished.
So as you can see here, I've clipped my facings to my bodice. Now the pattern calls for a fully lined bodice, but I didn't think it was necessary because it's quite a thick fabric, so I've made my own facings. Quite a few of you commented on yesterday's Craftcation video when you saw me tracing off my pattern, and asked how I was doing it because it didn't look like I was using any carbon paper or anything. So what I was thinking is I might do a couple of extra tutorials for the channel. So I thought I might do one about how I trace off my patterns, because I do it in a couple of different ways. But also, I don't know if there'd be any interest in anybody as to how I make my own facing pieces if there isn't a facing in a garment. So if there's any interest in that, then let me know in the comments below and I will add it to my ever-growing list of things to film for you. So I'm going to get this sewn now, and then I will show you pulling it through. So I've now stitched all my facings to my bodice, as you can see. The method that I use, I join at the shoulder seams of both the bodice and also the facings, and then I lay them on top of each other, right sides together, and I sew all the way around the armholes and all the way around the neckline on both of them, and then I can pull them through. So I love this bit. Elspeth called this pulling an elephant through a cat flap, and I really like that analogy. Basically, I'm going to put my hand up through the front bodice, up through the shoulder seam, and you have to kind of wiggle your fingers up the gap, and obviously the narrower your straps the harder this is, but it's easy enough. And then I kind of push the back bodice piece into between my fingers, get hold of it and pull it through. And it's a bit tight at first, but once you give it a really good tug, it will come through like so, and gives you a lovely neat strap and back bodice. So obviously that needs pressing. So I use this method whenever I'm doing a dress with facings, or even when I do a fully lined, I still do it this way. So I learned how to do this initially when I first tried the Sew Over It Betty dress, which I absolutely love. It's a fantastic pattern, but at the time I couldn't get my head around the instructions for doing the shoulders. And I'd previously made a shift dress pulling the elephant through a cat flap, so I figured, well, why can't I do it with Betty? And I tried it and it works brilliantly. So if you struggle with the shoulders on your Betty dress, then you could always try this method. It works exactly the same and it gives a really nice neat finish. So I'm going to take this over to the iron now and give it a really good press and sew up those side seams. Okay, so the dress is pretty much finished. It's got the skirt attached, I've put the zip in into the back, it's finished at the top here, everything lines up beautifully and I'm really pleased with it. So normally I would leave this to hang now for a good 2 to 3 days before I hemmed it, because what tends to happen with the big full bias cut skirts is that their hems can drop and they don't stay nice and straight. But this morning on my overlocker class, I learned how to do a lettuce edge hem, which is basically a rolled hem, but that waves around at the bottom. Now, I thought it would be really good fun to try that on this dress, and you can only do it on bias cut fabric, and the skirt is cut on the bias, so that's perfect. So I'm going to have a little go. What I've done when I closed the back seam up, where are we? I didn't go, ooh, where's the back seam? Oh my goodness, this skirt is mammoth. But anyway, I didn't go all the way to the end because it means I can start my rolled hem and just fall off the other end and then stitch the two together, and I'll get a slightly neater finish than trying to tail on and tail off the circle. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, I've literally eaten millimeters off the bottom of the skirt, and I will quit, hang it up and turn it under how I normally do with a double turn hem. But let's see if I can do it. This is the scary bit. Gonna have a go on a bit of scrap fabric first and see how I get on. Okay, that seems to be set up all right. I think in an ideal world I would probably want to put baby pink threads on my overlocker, but I don't have any for number 1 and I really can't be bothered to change them for number 2, so we're just going to stick with white. Okay, so it's a little bit subtler than I thought it might be, but I really quite like that. I think it's really quite effective. I'm really pleased with how that worked out. Granted, yeah, baby pink would look better, and who knows, one day I may just whiz around again and snip off my white, but I'm going to leave it be. So I'm going to go and pop it on and give you a twirl. how quick is this wrap dress to sew up. So I have done the ties, I've put the sleeves in, as you can see. I have stitched in the facings and caught the ties in, and now all it needs is to have the cuffs hemmed and the bottom hemmed, and to top stitch and press all the way round the facings, because at the moment, as you can see, they're all rolling all over the place. But I've popped it on just over the top of my existing dress. It's a really nice fit, and that's just over the top of my existing clothes. So I think it's going to be a thumbs up. But the time has come for me to draw a close to today's Craftcation. I'm not going to pick the kids up. I have actually got a nail appointment, which is a good job, because look at those, they're in a terrible, terrible state. So I'm going to go get my nails done, and then I'm going to pick the kids up, bring them home and put them to bed. But I am going to leave all my sewing stuff out, because this is so close to completion that there is no way that I can wait till tomorrow. So I'm going to finish it off tonight, and I shall start tomorrow's Craftcation video with a twirl. Although, if you watched my Craftcation plans video, you will see that I have completed all of the garments that I said I was going to make. And I have a whole day left. But I have an idea, so I'll come back to you in the morning. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.